Hi everyone, and welcome back to the 7th and final episode of Keeping Up with FSL, where you can get all the tea on the FSL Valorant circuit. I'm, of course, your host, Jenny Richie Lee, and co-hosting with me today, you guys know him, it's Kentril. Hey, I'm Quack. You've seen him cast all of 9 months, the last 9 months, really. But guys, we've come to the end of the FSL Valorant circuit. Of course, Alter Ego Celeste emerged as the final winners of FSL Elite and the Valorant Game Changers Southeast Asian Series. Today, we've got two very special guests on the show for you all. We've got Tycaster CBTT as well as Coach Sleepy joining us for the show. It's going to be a little different from our last 6 episodes, but trust us, we're going to have a fun hour ahead of us. Guys, hi!
Hi! How are you guys doing?
Welcome to the show. Could you firstly just give us a brief introduction of yourselves?
Okay. No, you first, CPTT.
Yeah, okay.
Go for it.
I'm your favorite caster on Thai channel for FSL, and also I'm a producer for the broadcast team for Thai FSL channel as well.
Nice.
Sleepy?
I'm Sleepy. Hi. I'm coach of Alter Ego main team. I am not coach of Alter Ego Celeste, which is something I should have taken credit for. But no, I'm fair. I didn't coach them. They won it all on their own.
Yeah,
so
they coach themselves. Also, Sleepy has quite a bit of beef against Silvers, and I guess CPTT cosplays as Naruto in his spare time. So that's pretty cool. That's what we've got going here on FSL.
I'm excited.
Right.
But guys, okay, so before we get started talking about the rest of the circuit, let's gonna take a look at how we got to this point and the way the circuit played out for the last 9 months. We're gonna take a look at the format over on your screens. As you can see, the first stage we played 6 rounds of FSL Open all the way from March to August. We had 3 teams qualify via FSL Open, and then we had played FSL Overtime in the second stage for the 4th to 19th ranks on the leaderboard, where another 3 teams qualified through to FSL Elite. And then finally we had FSL Wildcard, where we found our last 2 teams for FSL Elite over in October for a total of those 8 teams. And of course, we started out the year as like the FSL Valorant circuit. Over in June, Riot Games came on board, managed to join us because they were going to launch their Game Changers as part of their VCT circuit, which just aligned perfectly with our vision as well of just empowering women and just supporting like the next generation of female gamers.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I love this. We got our producers. They made this cool video, and bam, VCT Game Changers comes in. I mean, sometimes the stars align, and you just got to shoot your shot. You come back into this, and FSL Game Changers comes in, and it becomes a thing. And now we get to really support the women in esports. I mean, let's be honest, right? Like, esports, it's kind of male-dominated. This table right now is a little bit male-dominated. This is men. We're disgusting.
No!
But all right.
Yeah.
FSL comes in, and all of a sudden, everything is nice. Everything is good. The players themselves are super wholesome. And I think that's kind of what we want to talk about as well. Like, this is not meant to be a male versus female thing. It's just meant to be a space, a safe space for women to really develop their talents and grow. And I think that's something that is quite evident.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, even just watching the FSL Valorant circuit or VCT Game Changers to see, and also I think towards the end part of the circuit for FSL Elite, for example, we were on the Twitch Valorant main channel, and then we were also getting like a lot of comments all the time when the competition was going on about like, oh, why is this like a women only tournament? Isn't like the point of trying to get like more women in that you don't segregate and you don't like go by gender based off of this, but really like we wanted to emphasize that this circuit is one of the first steps in encouraging more women to try to compete professionally. It's because like already like as a woman, if you want to take part in any type of professional league, there are already so many barriers to entry just besides your gender. So the fact that like we have this FSL Valorant circuit and VCT Game Changers see is just encouraging more women to take part in professional leagues, and that's just kind of the first step. You get more women interested in playing the game and participating in the leagues, and then when you you have like that bigger player base of women, then you can just do more
Yeah.
of that.
Right? Step one. And then now, once you have this, it goes off. You got a lot of female teams coming in, and then you can start to see them participate in the mainstream tournaments. And then that is when we start to have like really true competition between everyone, not just guys, not just girls, like everything all across the board. And also, I mean, FSL doesn't just do this for Valorant. They also have other titles too. I think there's a Dota one coming up pretty soon.
Yep.
They've got PUBG Mobile. We got Wild Rift, which by the way,
Yep.
Horizon Cup, really cool. A lot of these different games, and that's why, I mean, we're super happy to be doing all this stuff with FSL.
Yep, for sure. And as you're talking about, like Wild Rift also is another game title from Riot Games. And I mean, Riot Games, they're just super encouraging. They really want to encourage women to participate in the main VCT circuit
Thank
as
you,
well.
Anna Donlin.
Thank you.
Director
Thank you. Yeah, also thanks to Opal. I mean, like Alex, he's been helping
yeah.
out so much,
yeah.
especially on
For
Twitter,
Southeast
just
Asia.
making sure that, all the VCT Game Changers
Shout
see
outs to him.
women gamers also get that really cool VCT Game Changers title. Like, can just kind of, flex
We don't
in
have
game.
one.
I mean, yeah, I
No.
took part in Open 3. I think we didn't. My team was like, golds and silvers, but
Eventually.
eventually, that is the hope. That is the dream.
And then we gotta bug her for Riot Fist Bump Gun Buddy.
Hey, no, it's almost Christmas, so you just need to like get an in with one of like the Riot staff.
No, I don't want a Gun Buddy for
Right.
Christmas. I want
Yeah.
the VCT skin bundle. The one with the karambit.
That is
Yeah, that's
nice.
Right?
that's a good one. That's a really good
So
one.
good,
yeah.
so good.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, CBTT and Sleepy, I mean, you've been with us for a significant part of the circuit as well. What do we think? Do we feel like that type of like positive impact that FSL and VCT and Riot Games have had so far on the women gaming scene?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's good thing that Riot, which is the game developer, they emphasize the importance of the space that given to all gender, not just one gender. Because I heard all the time about like, hey, women can play too. Why we need to have the separate the tournament, right? But the thing is, Jenny already said, is so many barrier for women to participate in the first place. So we need to give them the safe space to have more opportunity to show that off. And also in Thailand broadcast team as well, we not just looking at the player, right? We support the women equality to have a part in the back end of the working flow as well. So you notice that we have many women working behind the scene and also as the caster as well. I think many women is very good at doing their job, but they just need to have a chance to do it. And the VCT come in supporting the exposure and the prize pool as well. I think is get to the point where women can start really thinking about like playing professionally as the career, right? So I think that's the sustainable point to going forward.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, I mean, the prize pool, I mean, FSL Elite, right? What, 25,000 US dollars?
Yeah.
Like, that was just absolutely insane amounts of money. Like, like a few years ago, you just wouldn't be able to comprehend that a women's esports tournament would have that type of prize pool, because I think, especially in the past, like, like women's tournaments were just kind of that afterthought. Like, maybe a tournament would organize like some like show match style or like a 10v10 or like you play like ARAMs or something. But now like we have the entire
proper-
circuit exactly for these teams to really prove themselves.
And I think that's another interesting point as well. VCT Game Changers in the other regions, they also have big prize pools, but their tournaments are like one-offs, right, guys? Like, I mean, NA,
Yeah.
they have like one per weekend or something, and it's one and done. That's it. But for FSL, we got like a whole circuit. It kind of went across the entire year. And that's kind of designed specifically with the goal of getting all these girls to like keep on playing, give them as many opportunities as possible. We even have a rule whereby, like, I think in the circuit, if you don't at least retain 3 of your core team members, you get scrapped. You got to start over. Your circuit points get reset. So it really encourages them to stick together.
Yeah, and that was like
Yeah.
the way that we had the format, right? Like earlier when we were talking about it, we had the six circuit, the six Valorant Opens from March all the way through to August, and that was the top three teams would qualify through the FSL Elite based off of their leaderboard points by the end of August. So the way that we were, encouraging the girls to like stick together within their teams was that if in between each monthly Open you did change roster, you had to still maintain three members from your roster, or you would have to start back down from zero again. So we did see a couple of teams just shuffle around, but I think
Little
like
bit.
yeah, a little bit here and there.
That's okay.
But yeah, it was just very encouraging to see these girls and to see these teams grow, to see them come back as well. And I think the format really did encourage that as well. I mean, even if you are a woman gamer, just not sure if like pro is in your sights for the future, I think like that the FSL circuit gave you a lot of opportunities to just at least like try out
Yeah.
for a couple of months, because the way that we had that was firstly there was no rank limitation to participate
That's a big
in FSL to begin with, so you didn't need to be like Diamond, Immortal,
least something,
Radiant.
yeah.
You didn't have to be
Anyone
like
can
at
join.
least Diamond 3. Exactly. And then also we had double eliminations, we had like the group stages, we went through a couple of formats, but essentially all the teams played at least, I think it was at least two best of
games.
ones.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it wasn't just like you enter your first round out, even if you're like silver or gold, you still had a bunch of chances
At
to
least-
go up against a
and,
lot of
like,
the good
get
teams.
that experience and so on and so forth. And I think we have proof of like these girls getting opportunities, these girls developing as players. I mean, one of the bigger teams, for example, Impaler, they got picked up by
Yeah.
RTS Renatus, and it became Renatus White.
Mhm.
Celeste,
I mean,
think,
absolutely
gotta talk about these
mind
girls.
blowing that Celeste came into the competition with no sponsors.
yes,
Like
they started last year.
Like what? I mean, like I think they managed. I think they got picked up by Alter Ego somewhere between. I think it was Open 3.
Sleepy? Was
Open 3.
Yeah,
it was before
it
Open
was
3,
early
right?
this
Yeah,
year.
around like March.
Yeah, somewhere
Early
about
this
Or
there.
so,
That's right.
yeah, but like
Yes.
every competition before that, like at casters, we were
Just
always just like,
Celeste.
someone pick up this
Celeste.
team. Like this team is just
And then
absolutely
Sleepy's
insane.
like, all right,
Yeah.
sign them. I'm giving them the contract.
Did someone
You
say
know what?
sign a team?
Yeah. I would take credit for that, but no, not really. I wasn't the one responsible.
We're giving it to you. Just keep it quiet. But anyway.
You had one job, Sleepy.
I think that is kind of
Okay.
leading into our next point because, speaking of the girls who like roster stability, right? They have to stick together as a team. Celeste is that team. They have never swapped. I mean, they got a sixth player, Aureophilia, Margot. They kind of swapped towards FSL Elite. But for the
Tarathiel's
most part,
bunnies.
yeah, Tarathiel's bunnies. Everyone sticks together. They're like a squad of bunnies, bunny hopping all over the map,
Yes.
finding frags with judges and Buckies. And at that one time when Bucky was such a strong weapon.
It all makes sense
Yeah.
now. How like Tarathiel is so good on the double satchel
She's got
on Raze,
bunnies.
like back
Yeah.
when it was just like boing, boing, and just in your face.
But yeah,
She's the mother bunny.
she's the
so
mother bunny.
it's-
There it is.
It all
Yeah.
makes
I mean,
sense now.
Roster stability. They've stuck together so long. I mean, maybe Sleepy, since you're a coach and everything, you're a caster as well. You could kind of
Yeah.
let us know exactly why Alter Ego Celeste are that strong.
Sure. Yeah, this is going to be a great segment because I think this is going to be a proving point of how stability is important in a team. Alter Ego Celeste themselves, they stuck together for the longest time, even from the previous game, right?
How long exactly?
they-
I want to know. Like
Honestly, I'm not sure, but I would
Years.
guess that they've been at least 2 years. Like even before Valorant came out, they were already together, and they stuck together until today. And I think it's one of the points that's making them really strong. Because as forming teams, you gotta build that chemistry from the ground up. And if you keep changing and swapping players, it's gonna be like a reset every time you change players, right? So it's not something that I would recommend to many teams, but I get it. Personal issues, or sometimes players just don't fit with each other in terms of personalities or roles, and you have to kind of have to do the player swaps. But it's something that Alter Ego Celeste didn't really struggle with. I'll touch on that point later, where they actually stuck together, even though they do have problems with like roles.
do have
and
problems.
to swap.
What?
Yeah, they do have problems. I'm gonna share a very interesting story later.
okay,
But
okay.
for now, that's basically the first point, right? Alter Ego Celeste just stuck together. never really had any changes. They added in Margot, and Oreophilia was actually in the main roster, but then they swapped with Margot, and Margot became the fifth player, and Oreophilia stood out
Okay.
and kind of become the manager of the team. So
Oh,
it was kind of nice that, even though she was a player for the team, she was gracious enough to let the spot go to Margot and then help manage the team. So it was
that's
just that
nice.
chemistry that they built over the years. So that's one point. Um, I guess when we talk about Alter Ego Celeste, we can't ignore the fact that they're just individually gifted, right? We see, like you talked about Tarathiel and her double satchels. We haven't talked about Enery, but you
Mm.
guys probably know the name Enery, right? Everywhere she goes, there's just heads popping up,
Strongest
and
entry
it's
fragger,
just amazing how we saw
hands down.
this entry. She's like the icon of entry fragging in the FSL circuit, right? Everybody
Right.
knows what she's capable of, and not to mention Ayumi, right? Ayumi swapped roles. She was
Flex player.
Sentinel, and then she touched the Jet, and I guess we have a clip that can show you guys that Ayumi is that kind of a player with a Jet, and I guess we can check it out
Roll the
right
clip,
now.
Roll the
guys.
clip. I've always wanted to say that.
She's looking to cause some trouble, but Ayumi spots her out. She tags her down to 28. Goes in with the blaze storm. What? Ayumi! What was that? Was that a no-scope? Now she has the blaze storm, looks to push in towards Yeya. She takes Aya down, and then Tarathiel helps her out. Alter Ego Celeste make this a costly.
Just perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Just
That-
to say no
that's
scope.
Ayumi.
You see, it's a quick
Yeah.
scope.
And it was a quick scope, but see, the point is Ayumi is that gifted of a player, right? And she was playing Jet, and here's where the interesting story was. And one of the practice sessions that Alter Ego Celeste had, they asked me to sit in
Okay.
and just talk with them and I guess help them go through like how do they go about deciding who to take what roles. And I was giving them advice. If you're this kind of a player, then you should probably go and take this role. Like Enery, of course, with the aim and mechanical skills she had, she's very good on the duelist role. Tarathiel was on the raise, but because she's IGLing, she was the in-game leader for AEC. I advised her to take a more passive role so she can have a clearer picture of the map, and so she went back to being a controller, maybe even support at one point, but I guess she decided with controller. And Ayumi, she was playing a sentinel, right? I think she was maining Killjoy, and in that very practice session, she actually whispered me in game,
Okay.
and she was asking me something like, "Sleepy, I actually want to play duelist, but I don't feel like saying it to the rest of the players."
Aw.
And I guess this is one of the problems that I guess some of the ladies teams still have, or maybe just some new teams have. They just don't feel comfortable talking about these things, right? They want something, but they don't feel comfortable saying it, at the risk of breaking the chemistry or you know offending anyone. Like Enery is the duelist, Tarathiel is the duelist, and now here's Ayumi wanting to take that duelist role that she doesn't feel comfortable, and so I just kind of
Go for it.
maneuvered the team into giving that role to Ayumi, and look at how she performs, using the Jet. And I think this was the point where I saw Alter Ego Celeste was going to be a pretty good, stable team because they were willing to put personal issues aside, and they were able to navigate this dynamics without breaking up the team. And that's when I think I concluded that this team can be a professional team, and that was a very good starting point. So yeah, just great individual skills, great chemistry as a team, and one thing that I guess this is a privilege a little bit. She was the IGL Tarathiel. She was also sitting in on some of our practices with the main team.
Right.
So it was pretty nice that she was so willing to learn. Like she wasn't like she was just there. Willing to take in everything that we can give her. to just understand the game better as an IGL, and I guess it transferred over to the other players, and so they just perform very well as a team. And I think we can see that in one of the clips that I think we're gonna roll. Is there a clip that we're
Yeah, I
gonna roll?
think we're talking about like individual skill, it's not
Yeah.
just a Neri, a Yumi, Tarathiel.
No,
We
no.
also have, the other support-ish players like
Yes.
Oreophilia. This happened in FSL Elite. We can roll a clip pretty soon. Because this is Mad Army actually reading the situation perfectly clear. They know that Alter Ego Celeste doesn't quite have the economy they're looking for, so they're probably just holding angles, looking for the duels, and this is where Mad Army will gain free reign. Rushing in with the fully automatic weapons, they are actually able to do some damage, but Alter Ego Celeste holding angles will be able to do a little bit as well. Wait, this just got turned into a 1v1. What just happened? Oreophilia going for the res now, brings Iceberg back to life, and she has a sheriff. Ginny is the last one alive, though. If anyone can do it, she definitely can. But now she gets spotted out. Oreophilia coming back from the other side. She gets an intel ace with frenzies, with specters in this round. How?
4K frenzy plus a spec.
Disbelief. Just straight up disbelief. To be honest, I don't mean to be like, mean or anything, but I was kind of hoping that Alter Ego Celeste would lose.
What?
just
Sorry,
because,
what?
Just because they're like that good. I just want to see once, just
Right.
once, one map. Maybe they lose.
Yeah.
Mad Army
Would've
had a
been
full buy. Or frenzy, and she still won.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a bit impossible to just topple the queens of FSL, right? Let's be real here. I mean, we've been talking about just how this team A Celeste, just each member of them, just so individually skilled and individually gifted. I mean, that
So
Intel
good.
Ace by Orophilia as well. Sleepy, I wanted to ask you about this also because you're in a very unique and privileged position where, like, you know how the team personally just communicates. You know a lot of, like, behind the scenes and how the team works. Talking about Orophilia, I wanted to ask just how she managed to gel with the rest of the team, especially during Elite. I think she joined a bit later on. Like, was it tough for the team to just get along? I think you mentioned earlier that sometimes there were some problems here and there.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting because, as I mentioned, Oreophilia was the original player for AEC, but then had to stand out for Margot, right? But it was interesting because I did not expect Oreophilia to get back into the roster, and in that short time that she actually joined, I think they just somehow found a way to just really help her ease into the current meta, because that's the interesting part, right? Because they've always been changing roles and they've always been experimenting with different agents, and somehow they can just still pick Oreophilia like moments before FSL and just still have her perform very well as a support. I think it's got something to do with, again, how long they've been together. Like, they just know each other very well in and outside the game. And I guess Oreophilia, even outside the game, she was supporting AEC as kind of like the manager. And so I guess that translates into the game. She supports them very well outside, and now in game, she can just easily transition into a support player for the team. So
Yeah.
I don't think it was difficult at all for her to transition, to be honest.
Chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, I think it says a lot about both Orophilia and the rest of the AEC squad that you can just run this sort of like plug and play,
play.
support.
Yeah.
Like, wow, like it just speaks to both Orophilia as well as the rest of like the AEC roster's skill that they could manage to make this happen and pull it out at FSL Elite too, like the most important competition for us for this year. But I also wanted to ask you, Sleepy, because we don't get to hear as much of like team comms behind the scenes and
Right.
stuff that you would get the chance to. And I mean, we had a couple of interviews with mostly Tarathiel from AC because,
Right.
we do the winner interviews. AC is just kind of the team that ends up winning like every match. So we do a lot of interviews with
Right,
AC and
right.
with Tarathiel. I wanted to ask, when those huge plays happen or when the clutch moments happen, like what is the reaction? And also, like, do the girls get maybe nervous as that's
Right.
going on? Do you know?
Okay, honestly, I wouldn't know because I don't really sit in those matches, right? But I know, I think there are some clips somewhere that shown the the video,
Yeah,
the voice
yeah.
comms of the teams.
The mic
FSL
check,
has
yeah.
Yeah, and I was watching it and I saw that they were actually pretty excited, and I thought, okay, I guess even though they're like the queens, they still get excited over those moments. So I think they're just players, they always get excited for big plays. And if you ask me if they get nervous, I think hell yes, they do get nervous, especially when they've had this throne for so long. I think the pressure has been building up. Like they've always been expected to win,
Yeah.
and
Right.
so this is not something that you can live with very easily, especially when everybody like Quack
Expects you to
here
win.
saying things like, "I hope Alter Ego Celeste loses," right? So that's one of the things that I think top teams struggle with sometimes, and I guess it shows that AEC was just that strong of a team that they did not crumble under that kind of pressure.
Incredible.
But they do get nervous and they do get excited, and I think it's just overall awesome to see in the videos.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that's a great point that you brought up as well, because I think in one of our previous conversations with Tarathiel, I think I had asked her about how, pretty much every single other team in the FSL Valorant circuit looks up to AEC, and they're always saying, like, oh, who are your rivals? Oh, it's AEC. It's
AC.
got to be AEC. We want to
Right,
beat them. We want to,
right.
like, maybe take one map off of them at some point in the double elimination.
Yeah.
Whereas Tarathiel was just saying that, like, they know this, and they know that, like, they're kind of like the idols for all of the other
Yeah.
women in this competition, that for them they feel as if like they have to win, and for them it's not even that, like, they want to win, of course, but they feel that, like, if they don't win, that would be like a disaster for them to not. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like for them just like taking home another tournament crown is just kind of like regular day at the office, but like I can't imagine the sort of pressure that they're under.
Yeah.
But I mean, enough about Alter Ego Celeste. We could talk about this team for 4 hours.
That's
4
right,
hours
that's
easily.
right.
But I want to take a moment also to highlight some of the other teams that participated
Yeah.
throughout the FSL circuit. We want to highlight some of the other standout performances from the other teams and from the other players. CBTT and Sleepy, like, who stood out for you throughout the last 9 months?
Let me go first, CBTT. I think VLT Asteria actually showed up pretty big towards the end of the circuit. Even though they were still struggling with infrastructure, ping diff.
Yeah.
But overall, their skill level just, I think, took off. Especially with the role swap. I think
Yeah.
we discussed a little bit about Muffin Loop. I think she was not a duelist, and then now she became a duelist. Kind of like what Ayumi gone through, and now she shines with that role. And I think so. VLT Asteria has made a great progress towards the right direction, and really excited to see what they can do in the future.
Yeah, I think Muffin Loop went through like the reverse Ayumi. I think Ayumi was like, I want to be a
Right, right.
duelist. How do I tell the team? Muffin Loop was like, the team was like,
You
you should be a duelist. You duelist,
Right,
we
right,
support
right,
you.
right.
You deserve it.
Okay.
CBTT, what about you?
I have two teams in mind. One is the TC Allies, which I saw from the beginning. They try to like grinding the leaderboard, and I think they're not at the top 3, but top 19 and go into the overtime, right? Then they show the good improvement, and then another huge improvement and pricing as well at the FSL Elite, right? They got 6 to I think 5th and 6th place. They show how they perform with the practicing they get. And another team that I looking for, I think, is the Alicat Junior. It's a Thai team. I think they play under the alternative lady before. Then they
Yeah.
keep like they still like try to figure out the role and the practice they get as much as possible. I saw in the Thai community that they try to find the practice schedule like all the time, every day. That's the good thing to see, and we see the improvement in their play. I think at the Open 6, they do some decent placing there. Yeah, that's the team looking out for me.
Yeah, for
Definitely
sure.
cool.
I think definitely a lot of standout players, a lot of standout teams. Also, I think we've got a clip to show you guys. One of our, well, we're being a bit biased, you know, we're repping our hometown hero, Dodonut here from Singapore. She did used to play for RTS, but she left because I think it was school when she went to move to NA and then kind of just instantly got picked up, got scouted by TSM.
good.
She played like, I think she played like one competition as like a tryout or so with them, and then after that just kind of joined their main roster for TSM FTX.
Wow.
And we've got a clip to show you guys exactly just how good this girl is.
It's TSM, y'all. But I mean, aside from
In
that,
a bit.
in a bit, we're trying to load that up in a second. But
Yeah.
after
We couldn't handle the clip.
the donut did leave a hole though. Like I mean,
Oh my
she
God.
left the Impaler, and then now they're left with 4, right? So they
Yep.
got to find one more. That one was Kohibi. We saw how crazy she was on Elite. But I think we've got the donut clip on pretty soon, and
And Trix is definitely prepping those blinds up as well. Aya goes into the check, immediately falls. I'm expecting the blind to come pretty soon from Trix, but she's going in for the flicks instead. Oh, it's a double! Doesn't get the third, but that was close. And the donut opens up the site for her team. The spike should be planted fairly soon. She's looking to cut them off on the rotate. Finds one more. All that's left.
Headshots with the sheriff that she picked up. I believe this is from Baby Alico. But it's gonna be hard. It's a 1v3.
Oh, she's already low. Yep.
yep, you heard it.
Yeah.
Marquis just yep, 4K, easy. Nothing much else to say.
Just like that. And I mean, you're talking about how Kohibi had to come in to just replace that donut hole that was
Donut
left behind.
Good one.
Oh my god. I had one job.
No pun
Replace the hole that Donut left behind on the team. And I mean, if we're going to talk about standout players not on Alter Ego Celeste, I've got to say that I think my MVP for the entire circuit has got to be Kohibi. She's just hands down my favorite player to watch just all the time. She's just always pulling out those clutches, those exciting plays, just being that duelist, getting those entry frags as well, but also managing to be the last one alive on her team and just
Yeah.
like getting those triples
Yeah.
and 4Ks. Just absolutely insane. We need to talk about her.
One of the few players that could actually stand up against Alter Ego Celeste and come walk away with like I think she got a 30 bomb at some point. She's
Yep.
got so
Yeah,
many
she did.
first blood, so many crazy kills. And
Yeah.
the craziest thing to me is, you know, in the past, somewhere towards the start of the year, she would play nothing but Reyna.
Yep.
Now she goes on to Raze, and she's still able to basically explode onto side. And I think we have an example of that in the form of a clip. Let's roll it.
All drone will spot out one, but only one, I think. Around the corner, Muffin Loop was just waiting. Still an eco round, and they have had a lot of success now. They have the map control. Now they get pizza.
Yeah,
But there's 3 players waiting on the other side of it.
it's funny how it's now that they actually have the map control. They actually get a kill onto
Oh!
Aphrodite, but Kohibi is gonna have a skewer of her own. Gets 3, gets 4, even might be the ace for Kohibi, and she completes the intel ace on that battle sage.
Okay, not Raze. Sage. Sage. And you
Yeah.
get an ace. Kind of like Urophilia, huh?
Yeah, no, like when she started picking up different agents throughout FSL Elite, like I was just so excited. When she picked up the Raze, I was like, girl is feeling it this time. Then there was that one agent select where she was hovering the stage, and I was like, okay, like I'm not fully buying into this yet, but you know, when you play Sage, you either play one of 2 ways, right? You're either like at the back, you pick up the spike, you do the old little like
Or,
KJ, or you
Heal your
just
teammates,
straight
let them get aces.
Exactly. Or like, you know, if your team is dead, she's just like, you know what, forget it. I'll res you and then I'll just like, I'll
Yeah.
do this myself if I have to. Yeah, and I just love that type
That's
of
Kohibi.
energy.
That's Kohibi. I think we're starting to get into this territory of like
Do not
just
simp.
thinking
Do
about.
not simp.
I'm not simping. Come on, relax. we're just talking about like, you know, all these interesting and crazy momentous moments that we've seen all throughout the entire year. I mean, we're thinking about the Donut, Kohibi, the TSM pickup, Alter Ego Celeste, of course. But we've also got so many other teams as well. Like, I mean, Sleepy mentioned VLT Asteria, Muffin Loop
Yeah.
swapping over onto the duelist role. I think at some point, you know, speaking of infrastructure, right, there was one tournament whereby we couldn't start a match. You know, people in Twitch chat, they love to,
Right.
Casher, start game. We couldn't. We wanted to, but we couldn't because one of the players from Asteria had some issue, like I think power went out at home.
Yeah.
And you know what she did? She just straight up looked for the nearest like computer shop or something, loaded up Valorant right there and she continued playing. And
Yep.
she's still able to perform quite well. And let's just take a look at that clip right now. Muffin Loop with an ace, if I'm not wrong.
Spoiler.
Sorry.
Jeez.
All right.
Smoke, not gonna happen. The spike goes down, they're gonna be backing up, and it's gonna be the B retake. Not the easiest thing to do, especially with an operator in your hands. Now Muffin Loop will look to be the entry. She has to. She actually lands a shot onto Biel, and that's a beautifully timed shot. The swing out yet again from Muffin Loop, finding a double, not finding a triple just yet. But the time is taken away. Swaps to the rifle. Hunter's Fury to delay the plant even longer. Muffin Loop is on a tear, and she finds a triple kill here for Asteria. But now she's the only one left standing. Could be swung out on Muffin Loop with 4. Muffin Loop with no more time. And she's gonna get the ace, but can she get the time? And she does! She halved it! Muffin Loop, unreal performance!
I mean, Muffin Loop just absolutely showing that, like, no internet, no problem. Girl did what she had to do. No internet. She just went to a LAN shop to figure something out and still manages to make that ace happen with that ping difference as well. And I was just very happy, also very proud, I think, of the Asteria girls. They managed to really, like, build that huge fan base that we saw just, like, pick up steam as the circuit went on for them. And I mean, I think this is what we mean, right, when we say that for FSL, Valorant, Circuit, VCT game changers, it's really about giving some of these girls and some of these teams that maybe otherwise would not have gotten noticed in another type of league or maybe even in their own region and giving them a chance to shine.
Give them a chance to shine. That's what it's all about. And then here we are. They get picked up by Velocity Gaming in India, which is pretty freaking cool. I mean, we got all these other teams to talk about as well, like Vitality, Estelle, the one that kind of lost in the clip, but they did improve too. Okay, I mean, towards the start of the year, I think they struggle here and there, but now they're making it into playoffs and some other teams that we haven't quite talked about as well. I mean, TC Arise was one that CPT
Big
mentioned.
Scythe also
Big Scythe,
really
exactly.
showed up big towards the end of the circuit. Yeah, like Big Scythe, Vitality, and I mean, fun fact. I mean, I participated in some of like the previous FSL Opens as well. I was teammates with a few of the Vitality girls. So like Ilima, Ilima actually she used to also participate in the FSL League of Legends competition. So I think it's just that thing where if you're mechanically gifted at a game, it transfers to another game. I don't know how she did it from MOBA to FPS, but she was just built up exactly. So her team used to consistently place at least second. Like they were always like, they were really good. And then when Valorant came out last year, I think towards the end of like the open beta or so, I really wanted to play this game, right? And then so I went to just kind of like ask pretty much the whole of the second team who played for FSL like League of Legends, and I was like, can we play this? No, we don't start off that strong, you know. We're like, can we, do you want to try like Riot's new FPS game with me, and we can maybe learn together. So when we started out playing, we were like, she was like, we were like silver, gold-ish at that level, and so we played in Open 3, and then just after that, I mean, she ditched us, which was just, she knew
found a better team.
It was absolutely fair enough. We did not want to hold her back, but like in the 6 months like after that, like she's easily diamond every single season right now, and she's just like so good.
If you've never touched an FPS and then you just start
that was her first FPS
you
game
pick
too.
Valorant up and all of a sudden you're diamond, you're competing in FSL.
That's crazy.
That's huge. That's huge.
It was actually nuts. So just like watching her and the rest of her team's like journey through the circuit, I was rooting for them so hard. They were so close to making it into
Very
FSL
close.
Elite as
Like,
well.
They were in wildcard again. Unfortunately, just got knocked out. But things happen. But that's the thing. Their journey doesn't end here. We still got more tournaments to go, and hopefully maybe another VCT Game Changers next year or something. Hopefully, I don't know, but just throwing that out there. Riot, please. I don't know, but yeah, we got some other teams to talk about as well. For example, I think Oasis Gaming.
Yep.
That's a fun one to talk about because they kind of had like roster shuffles here and there, and then they disbanded towards the end of FSL Open 6, the last one. couldn't keep their core members together. And then when it came to wildcard, there was a last chance to qualify. They picked up Ginny Naja for the Thai player. Like, she's revered. Everyone knows her. Crazy player from other games.
Yeah.
Lodi, actual Lodi. Every like girl in Southeast Asia who has ever like just even touched like a gaming
You know
mouse
who Ginny
or a
is.
mechanical keyboard, like she is your idol for
So you can
sure.
see
Oh my
CPT
God.
nodding. He knows
Yeah,
Ginny. He's like,
everyone,
I want to
like-
talk about her.
Like our OBs, our like production, like before like we
Right.
went live that weekend. I remember the first time like Ginny was gonna sub, like production, like there are all these like rumors here and like DMs and whispers and like, hey, Ginny's participating this weekend. What?
Ginny.
No,
Oh my
Ginny?
God.
Ginny? Like myth? Ginny? Like wait.
Made in
Ginny.
Thailand. That's what it's about. But
I actually have chills. Like I actually
just
like.
gonna try to
have
slide into
chills.
Ginny's DM some other time, but you know that's Rarichu stuff. Anyway, they came back together with Ginny, right?
Yeah.
And then now they're
Yep.
Mad Army, and this is the craziest thing. They actually beat Alter Ego Celeste in another tournament, not FSL, but
Yeah,
another
yeah.
tournament, and I think that's pretty crazy. And maybe CPTT could just talk to us a little bit about that. I think we have a clip from about Anko as well.
Yeah, I think so.
And Tarathiel's playing a bit up close, trying to punish a push here. Oh, but she's gonna get spotted by the Yoru ult Anko with a dimensional drift. They know where he is, but he's just being a nuisance here. Teleports in. Making it confusing for them. Stan takes Tarathiel down, and they're gonna get into sight.
Yeah, Anko. Brilliant. Just this it gives them the hard entry that they lacked earlier, and it gives them the hard flash that they lacked earlier. So I guess this is why it works. And with the added mobility of the Yoru, they're finding a way to make this off pick somehow work.
Yeah, the rifles. This is Alter Ego's last round. They're gonna get two. The rifle kills are falling, but Stan is gonna take down Margot, making it really
No
difficult.
way.
Stan, that's a 3K for Ayumi is gonna take her down, but there's still two members alive for Oasis Gaming Aqua. They don't know where Anko is. They're gonna try to fake it. Lax is gonna take one more, and it's down to Ayumi versus Anko. No more flash for her though, so that's gonna be the fake out being used, and it actually fakes her out.
Wow! Galaxy Brain play from Anko! We're seeing the Yoru! Just... I am getting goosebumps.
So good. Send out the footsteps. Ayumi actually got sold on that fake. That's amazing.
Wow.
Only player in FSL, like across this entire year, I think, to actually pick Yoru. CPTT, why does she do that?
That's the crazy thing about Ango, because I think he never played Variant before.
What?
Really, before
Wait,
participating.
wait.
The first time they participating is, I think, the FSL Open one in this circuit. Just this year, kick off with, I think they tried to submit the roster that time. Mad Army tried to submit the roster before the midnight, right? Then one of their players is not waking up. So Muffin called Ango because she's friend from like CS before.
What am I hearing?
That called, hey, I need to submit the roster and I have like one player off. You want to join? Then okay, I can do that. Then she joined the FSL Open one, and then she never played Berlin before, right? So she didn't know the agent ability, so she started off with, I think, Reina. Then she just stick with that Reina every game, every map that they play because she already know one agent. And then at one point, I think there's a talk within the team that, hey, maybe Anko, I know that you still not familiar because you're still practicing, right? It's new game. But maybe you need to expand the agent a little bit more. And I go, okay, maybe Yoru.
Maybe Yoru.
One more. and then she play, and then I think is the surprising factor that coming in the match as well, because the enemy team is not expecting you to pick Yoru, right? Then that caught them off guard as well, I think.
Yeah.
And this was not just any team, by the way. This was AEC that she faked out, right? So it was really that unexpected, and that was one hell of a crazy story. You know? Learning agents on the fly against AEC and faking out Ayumi. Hats off.
Hands off.
Hats
Hands
off.
off. For sure. Yoru of all things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just absolutely insane stuff. I mean, like, if you don't know the meta, you're not bound by the meta, right? You don't let the meta control you. You control
right.
it. So
That's the thing about Akko. I mean, she's one of my. I honestly have to say, like, one of my favorite players across all of FSL. I mean, I didn't even know about this whole thing where she never played Valorant before. Most of the time, I thought she's just this like smart player. She loves to lurk on her own, apart from her team. But no, it turns out this is her. It's just picking up Valorant and then learning things on the fly. I guess that's something that you got to do sometimes, learning and trying things out on the fly.
yeah, so I mean, some people, they're just born diff. I don't know what to say. Like, I can't relate, but I mean, I can't relate, but I can appreciate. That's what we can appreciate from our perspective. But talking about a couple of plays that we can appreciate, we've looked at some absolutely insane aces, some operator plays, some clutches. But let's take a look at this cute little clip that happened towards the end of FSL Elite. Quack was here firsthand. It went viral. We'll say no more. We'll let you guys look for yourselves.
They weren't able to hold down yellow. Now they're trying to do it. It's going to be up to Rosie and Rudy's. They managed to take down 2 of them, but that leaves us in a one-on-one where Rudy's is 1 HP exactly. She needs that one sweet, crisp tap to put an end to this. And Japips knows that. She's going to stay hidden, trying to get it to halfway. One more shot. Over the top! Not like this!
I love how the sound is cut off.
Yeah.
We're all face palming.
Yeah.
That was a respectful moment of silence, I think. That's why we were quiet. Oh my goodness.
F's in chat. Just F's in chat all around for that.
Okay.
I don't know. Things happen, and you just react, and you shout so loud that the microphone cuts off. Marquis had that perfectly cut scream, oh no, and then just cuts off.
Yeah.
But I think CPTT has something to say about this. I mean, you talked to some of the team players from Arcade Aresta.
Right. Yeah. So I talked with Yoki before coming into this, and I think in Arcade Aresta they undergone the change in role as well prior to the FSL Elite, right? And they try to figure out who play what. Then I think the team want Yoki to become more of the duelist for the team because like really high skill selling of like aiming and stuff, right? Then they change the role within the team. Every player need to learn the new agent, right, that fit them. But I think because they changed really not that far off before the FSL Elite, so the player is still not familiar with the new agent, like the potential of the agent that can do, right? And this is one of the example because I think at one point I talked with Yoki, right? Yoki played Sova before, and then she think about she's spectating the I think Rudy, right, in the game, and she think that I don't think this lineup gonna pass through, and then not finishing her thought, and then the shock dart coming in.
Oh no!
just too late.
It's like freeze frame.
Yeah, too late.
I don't think this is...
I have something to add to that. I don't think people appreciate this factor enough. Like, you know, if you're not used to an agent, those are the things that you miss, right?
Sleepy, you're
Playing
a Sova
this
main.
game, yeah, a Sova main will know that that's not gonna work, right? But if you're just new to this agent, you have to get used, and you have to know this agent inside out, and just be able to think off of your head, just okay, this lineup will not work. And obviously she just got into the role, and that's proven here that it did not work. But people need to appreciate that it's not that easy, you know, to get used to an agent. You have to spend time, and I guess that's something that all these other players can look out for as well. You have to spend time with your future agents.
That's all.
Otherwise, you're gonna make the headlines again with Quack just there.
You gotta put in the hours, you know. But
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah.
Mistakes happen. These things happen
Yes.
all the time. I mean, just search up "art of whiffing" on YouTube. And you can see
Mhm.
all the pros whipping all their sprays and
Oh
everything
yeah.
else.
Oh yeah.
Things happen. It's not just like, whatever it is, learning a new agent or just having like nervous jitters in the middle of a tournament. Things happen, and the best thing is that they didn't give up. That was the first map of the entire series,
Yes.
I think, and they kept on going. If as far as I'm concerned, after that round, she redeemed herself because they went overtime and they managed to push it against TC Arise for quite a while, in fact. So I'm pretty happy about it.
Yeah, and I think
Oh,
just
yeah.
like being able to mentally come back from that and like come back in front to the next round, like that takes mental so strong.
If it were me, it's just like
If it were me, I'm just like, guys, you know what? And then I'm there like turning off my internet. Oh, guys, I DC'd. I don't know what happened. Like my power went out. Like, I mean, do we have a sub? Because
no.
I'm out. I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm uninstalling after that. But like the way that they came back after that was also really great. But I mean, it's been almost a whole year since the creation of the FSL circuit and the merge with Riot VCT Game Changers as well. And just growing from where we started has been such a great journey with everyone here at FSL, as well as all the teams, the players, the talent team, you guys who've joined us from the start, all of the talents that we've managed to work with. And I think just going back once again to why we wanted to create this league, why we feel that this is important. You know, we want to create those opportunities for women, create that space where they can be accepted. They don't need to worry at all about gender. They can just worry about, you know, playing, improving, being the best pro players that they can be, and playing without prejudice. And what do you guys think about that? Like looking forward for the future, in what ways do you think that FSL can improve?
Yeah,
Big
I
question.
think right. There's a lot of potential for the scene to grow, right? I think the good thing is developer is taking the first step to come in and show that this is the scene that have the potential in. I think many sponsor already at the almost finish up the FSL circuit, right? They interest to join in
Mm.
because there's the huge potential behind the scene, right? Right. I want to buy one as well, but I still haven't finished my room yet. So still like packing up in the box. But yeah,
Okay.
many sponsor coming in and see the potential of the scene. That's the good thing to have because even though the Riot is the big company, right? You can't just like grow in the community by just developer. They need to create a huge ecosystem, right? For supporting each other, team, the player, the I think staff and many stuff, right? So I think that's the good thing to have within this year. I think we grow from the beginning of the year still like I think price pool is something 1,000, right? 1,000
Yeah.
Singapore dollar.
Yeah, that was I think a
It's goes
combined
up.
prize pool as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Then it's go huge up to like
25k USD.
yeah,
Nuts.
right. It's not just Singapore dollar.
Mind-blowing.
It's
US
dollars.
US dollar, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's good thing to have, and it's very good to look out for. I think in Thai specifically, Thai community, many female is really taking this playing professionally seriously. There's many shuffle toward the end, so it's the bad thing that we didn't have many Thai team at FSL Elite, even though we got two, right? Yeah. But I think looking forward to next year, I think there's many team that will coming in, and the competition will get like hotter, right?
Yeah.
Within the Southeast Asia region, I think many countries have that as well. But the thing is, as Sleepy already emphasized the importance of the stick together, right?
Yeah.
You gotta just, even though you give the player like AE, right? you can't just expect to like come in together as a five and then you get straight championship. Got it grinding up, right? Building the chemistry and
Oh, yes.
stuff like that. So that's one thing that I think we will have to we will see in the future.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Riot Games also has come out and said that, like they didn't, when they wanted to start VCT Game Changers, they didn't really envision this as like an entirely separate league away from the regular Valorant Champions Tour, right? And they're saying like they also do want to encourage the Game Changers girls to also like take part in the regular VCT as well in the future. And I mean, I know this year and recent years we've been very limited in terms of international tournaments, especially because of COVID. But I wanted to ask you guys if we did manage to see in the future a Southeast Asia region versus NA or versus other regions, what teams would y'all like to see play against each other? If we had something like a VCT like Berlin for Game Changers, what would we want to see?
I think you guys know. You guys know that we want to see TSM go back here, fight Renatus White, and just have that
Holy cow!
reunion.
The storylines write themselves.
Donut versus Kohive
Versus your old team. Holy cow.
That'd be
I just want to
amazing.
see AUC like go overseas and wreck face. I
See,
just
I
want to
know.
see
Yeah,
them like
wow.
just face roll over everyone else. Like
I mean, that would be interesting, and I guess the teams to look out for would be Cloud9 White.
Cloud9 White.
Right?
Yep.
They've been like the queens of the West, I guess. So it would be interesting to, pit off the West and the East kind of thing. I think G2 goes in. I think that's the name of the ladies' team, right? They've also been
Juliano?
firing up. Yeah, Juliana. Like they just won VCT Game Changers.
Yeah.
Just recently.
Yeah, and so these three teams and TSM as well, like just put them together, man. See what happens.
Maybe they
that'd be
start fighting.
interesting.
Maybe they start, becoming friends, and then who knows?
what? Friendship? Was that the goal?
And then you got international teams. Maybe there's like an international Valorant team, and then they're gonna join the main VCT and wreck the dudes.
I would be so excited for that.
That would be
I
amazing.
actually would also really want to see some of the women's teams just like straight up trash talk each other, because I know in like other tournaments, like some of these boys, like they're just straight up savage, right? They're just straight up calling each other
Sentinels,
trash. They're just like, I'm gonna dunk on you. But like for FSL at least, like the girls are just always so happy to play with each other.
Right,
like a lot of the
And
times.
most, like you get a little bit of tactical crouching, but that's about it.
Yeah, but I mean that's because they know each other. I mean, if we're that was well, we don't. Can we talk about? No. Okay, we're moving on from that. But I mean, yeah, the girls a lot of the times in the pregame lobby as well, we see them like I think they were telling
It's like, oh my god, I'm
people.
a big fan.
Yeah, they are. They're like
Yeah,
trying to like get each other's socials, and then like they also like the way that they make fun of each other is they're just like, hey, like Inari, like like don't play
Okay.
Jet, or like don't play Jet. She's like, okay, but like then Raze, and like,
Oh yeah.
that sort of thing. Yeah,
Right,
it's really cute. Like it's very wholesome, of course, but I mean, like I mean, some of these girls, a lot of these girls, they've got the skills to back up whatever trash talk. So I would want to see that for next year. But guys, we've definitely got a lot of things to look forward to in the future, and not even next year, because next month, in just a couple of weeks, I believe we're opening signups very soon. Are we breaking the news on this
I guess
show
we
right
are.
now? We are. Can we?
Do
What is
it.
Oh my god. Okay, so we've got a Valorant tournament coming up in December for all of y'all, and this time around we heard the feedback that we got from a lot of people about like sometimes if they're not like Diamond, Immortal, and up, it's a bit hard for a new team to try and break in to the FSL Valorant circuit right now. So this time around for the December Valor tournament, it's going to be rank limited. So we're going to give a lot more opportunities to some of the lower
What was it,
ranking
like plat 3 and
women.
below?
I think it's my calling is what it means.
Okay.
I think
She's gonna turn into a pronoun.
I mean, the audience wasn't me. It's definitely me. But yep, guys, you definitely keep an eye out for that. We're posting when the signups open over on our social media. And yeah, just to close, FSL, we set out to create opportunities for women in the Valorant scene by doing this whole FSL Elite circuit to begin with, also with Riot Games support. I think that we can kind of be happy with what we've achieved for this year, because I mean, what a year that it's been for all of us here. But I mean, for all you guys watching, we're always open to new ideas, open to feedback as well. If you've got any suggestions, any comments for us, just let us know in any of the chat boxes on whatever platform, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, that you're watching it right now. Remember to follow us on our social medias on Facebook and Instagram for all of the latest news. And just a huge thank you for supporting FSL for this year. Also, thank you to our guests, Sleepy and CPTT, for giving us
Naruto, Sasuke.
exactly all the insight that we would never have known about, like behind the scenes of AC and stuff. But yep, best of luck to Sleepy, your teams going forward, CPTT as well on the broadcast, and to everyone watching, thanks for joining us. It's been a wild ride for the last 9 months. Hopefully, we'll see you all again next year. Bye.
Amen.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.